Hello guys, today I'm gonna to tell you about freedom. Freedom, first of all, let's define what freedom is. And for most of you, freedom will be the state where you. Sorry for that cut. Let's continue. So let's say that you want to go to university. You don't want to go to university. Your parents want you to go to university, and now is the tricky thing, because you see, if you want to, you have to do research on this thing to have some kind of answer to that, right? So you research on internet, and you have to not just one site and read this, because you see, if you read only on one page, then you are still you're not still mentally free, because you read this from this site, and if you trust this site, then you are brainwashed. Still, you have to make a research, deep research. So I will not count, but many sites you have to visit and read about one topic, and then try to take all things that you learned and mix it, and from this you will get the answer if you want to go to university or not. And then if you do some deep research, then you will have already your opinion about this topic, and then you won't be controlled by any site. Your point of view will be based on your research, right? So of course you might do some mistakes still, but it's better to do some research by yourself than listening to someone else research. And you have to try to I came from what can happen if you had that. So let's come back to this. And then you did your research, right? And you confront your parents if you want to go to university or not. Your parents tell you that you have to, and if you listen to them, you will go to university because you trusted them. But it looks that based on your research that you did, it seems that university is not as good as not going to university. And now you have to make a decision if you want to change your mind and trust your parents, or trust yourself. Of course, your parents also did some research about this, maybe not that deep that you did, because it seems that they probably heard in television that if you go to university, so then you will be paid more. But it's not always the case. So if you did this research, right, and you know that if you go to university, you can be paid more, of course, but the time spent in the university might not be always the case. So there the research is mm, good in that kind of situation. So let's get back to the physical freedom and what can be the dangers of this. The dangers, I will not tell that this is some really dangerous things. This is just not being completely free. The mental freedom mm, is worse for you because you see if you're not mentally free, then you are more easily to be physically to not be physically free. But if you're not physically free, then it's also easier to be not to be mentally free. So this is right, like if you have this, it's more likely for you to have the next one. But I will tell that if you're not mentally free, you are brainwashed, then it's even more easier to not be physically free. And what causes the not being physical free? To be honest with you, I don't know, because this thing is so complicated. I know that mental freedom causes this, because if you are not mentally free, then someone tells you that 8 hours a week is good, and you have to work from Monday to Friday and be in work, then you will think that this is the case, right? Because that's how it works, right? This should work like this. So you will do this, and then you see if you been brainwashed that 5 days a week in work is good, then you will be more likely to go to your work and work from Monday to Friday for 8 hours in office and then back home and repeat, right? Most of times the physical freedom is caused by mental freedom. Most of the times, I will say. Maybe there are few examples that are starting from something else. Maybe situation in your home. So for example, you don't have that much money and you want to just have some money to gain, right? Because you will have to buy food and other things that are that we have to just gain, and then you will have to maybe get out of this comfort zone where you are free. And this is there are a few examples, but I don't will tell you what are those, because if you will be in this situation, you will see then. If you understand what physical freedom is, then you will understand when you're in situation when when you are in the situation where you will not be physically free, but will be mentally free. And there are a few examples. Let's get to the next step. What you should do to accomplish both of those freedom. The mental freedom, as I said before, is gained by doing research by yourself, and then you have to always update that that research. You have to update your what it's called, like I don't know what it's called, like I will not tell you, but you have to always update the research base, because the times are going forward and some things might change, and then as something worked 50 years ago, now might be on a might be too old, right? So you have to always update your research. Let's say research. You have to always update your research, and then there are you now you are mentally free, because you believe what you have, what you know, what you have by yourself. By yourself. Again, this is the knowledge that you gain by yourself, and this is so important to do this, because if you just listen to one source of knowledge, then you will be still brainwashed, because you're only gaining on one source. So then you see, you will only be thinking about this one. Your knowledge will be limited by only this one source, right? You have to have many sources, and then make your opinion about this source. And this is, I think, this is everything you have to know about the mental freedom, how to gain it. And then is physical freedom. This is more complicated, because if you are actually, if you are not physically free, then you have to start from the mental side, and then to go to the physical side, because the cue of the problem is in the mental most of the times, as I said earlier. But how to get back on track in physical freedom? For example, you have to learn there is many, it's based on what it's based, to be honest, as I now think about it, it's based on what kind of area are physically free actually, and not physically free. It's based, because you see, something might be good in some area, but in the other will not be. So it's based, to be honest, the answer here is not as easy as for the mental freedom, because in the mental freedom this is just as simple as it as it's as it is, but the things that you have to concentrate when you are defining your plan on being physically free, you have to count the time, because the time is the currency in the physical freedom that you can do with whatever you want with your time. No one controls your time, and of course this is probably the main thing that you have to watch when you want to be physically free. This is main thing. Then of course goes money and many other things with this related, but the time is the most common, and probably other things that is defining the physical freedom is just based on what you want to get from this. So the answer from me to you about the physical freedom is you have to concentrate on your time. You have to be free from doing what you want to do. Your plan have to be based on what you do and not based on anything else. If you want to go to school, you go to school. If you don't want to go to school, you don't have to go. Of course, you might be thinking that being free is just being lazy, but it's actually not. But I say now, if you want to go to school, you go. If you don't, you don't have to go to school. But there are responsibilities, right? Don't mix it up. The responsibilities and being free is other things. If you have be responsible, and for example, you have your own family, then you're responsible to go to work. Maybe not go to work, but just to work and make money. And if you say just, I don't want to do anything, I want to be free, then you are stupid, because now you are not responsible. You have to be responsible and free in your time. And this is probably everything I have to say. Nothing comes to my mind when I tell you about it. I hope that you liked this video, and see you soon in the next week. Bye.